and welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to start this a little bit different. I've actually sort of forward planned a layout for once. So I got this cut file from the Just Next Door, and if I have a quick look, I think it's Everyday Words, I think it's called. It might not be. I do apologise. Let me have a quick look and see if I can see what it's called. It is Everyday Words Background is what it's called. Luckily my download was still in my email. So I've had a little bit of a mess with it in Silhouette software, so I'm not sure if you can see this, but there was the word forever was over here, and then there was a couple more words here. But I had a mess about in the software with the idea that my photo will go here. So I just created a box in Silhouette software for the size of a photo. And then my idea is that this will be the title, Love This Life. But then all these others, I'm going to pop some glossy white paste through it onto a white background. So it will be a white on white, but then I'll have the title, which may or may not stay in this yellow. I think it's going to stay in this yellow, which is why I've cut the cut file out of it. But I may decide that I want the words different. I may change my mind completely, but that's my thought process. So in my editing, all I did was I moved the word forever down, just because I felt as though it framed where the photo's going to go, with the idea of this being the title, which means I may well build some clusters down here, and then I may build some clusters up on the corner of this page maybe. I'm not too sure yet, but I felt as though that word not being there, with having only this in modelling paste and then this, looked a bit different, so I popped this word down there. But as I say, this is all a thought process so far. I'm not sure how the modelling paste is going to go through. The other thing I did do once I'd released the compound path is I removed all the middles out of these letters apart from the O, because that's going to become my title. So I've removed them all out of all the other letters because I figured, what's the point in having all those little bits that'll drive me batty? And I can still use these words like this anyway, like they still look good. So I'm going to crack on with this. I'll put you on fast forward because I'm guessing this is going to take me a while, and you may well see my head in it quite a bit, so I may have to edit some out. And I'll switch on to voiceover and let you know how it goes, if it all happens. So I started off by taking the cut file off my mat, and then I'm just going to layer it over my white cardstock. I have layered it a little bit higher up, just the way the cut file cut, just to centre it a bit more. And I'm going to tape it all down with some washi tape that I have gazillions of. So I'm going to tape down all the sides, and then I'm also going to cover the title area of Love This Life. And then using a little spatula, just a cheap one from Hobbycraft, I'm going to apply my modelling paste over the letters. Now, a tip I did find with this layout, it wasn't a biggie, but if I'm going to do it again, if I'm using white modelling paste and I'm using cardstock as my stencil, I'm going to stick to white cardstock. There was a few bits near where I first started on the words remember and this life noted, where the yellow cardstock did sort of soften and wet a little bit and ended up on the cut file. So I say it's not a biggie for this layout, but if I did it in the future, I'd do it with white and then I wouldn't have that problem. So I've let the cut file dry overnight and let all that modelling paste dry off. And I'm now messing about with the idea of layering up my photos, which I must admit with the cut file I didn't pay attention to the fact of if I'd layered up and still been able to see all the words. I still think it looked good, but it does cover up the slight edge of moments captured, and I did have the space to shove it over a little bit. So this layout does end up being a quite simple layout, considering how I thought I'd be able to do embellishments here and there. It didn't quite work that way. But anyway, at the moment I'm just going to cut down the cut file and back it onto this teal. I did start off by cutting, I think, 1/4 of an inch and decided to cut a bit more. So you'll see I cut the same off again all the way around the edge, and I mount that down onto the teal. And then I had a look at where I thought I'd want to put my clusters all around my photos, and it just wasn't working. I'm not sure what it was, so anyway I left it for a bit. I then decided that I was going to cut the words out of different coloured pattern papers, and I really liked the way that looked. I liked the way that the title looked, so the yellow got ditched completely. But hey, plans never go to plan. So I've got those down, and then I'm going to mess about with quite a few of the embellishments from the stickers. This word sweet, oh, it moved so much. I mean, I've cut out half of it, but I did like the way that it sort of was this sweet life. Love this sweet life. You could sort of think of it that way, or you could, you know, go for sweet and amazing. You know, it sort of gave the title a few different options. But anyway, I decided that the actual letters themselves looked best where they were originally, even if I put sweet on over the top. I'm going to stick my letters down and eventually stick love the right way around, because I did decide to mix that up a little bit. And I'm going to bring the sweet back down a few more times, going to move it about, but it will end up being between the word this and life. I just like that pop of black. I didn't really bring in much else black, but it looked good. Then I'm coming back to this again later on. So this layout, as much as I had a plan, it didn't do me much favours. But my husband had a look at it and he was suggesting, oh, do some shadowing on the letters. And I had a quick go with a pencil and really liked the way it looked. So I'm now going over all the letters and just marking down the left hand side. So anywhere where it had the left or an element on the left, that's where I marked with the pencil, and that just gave it some soft shadowing, not as harsh as black, but nice and soft with that pencil. And there the sweet had to move again to make the room. But yeah, get that one finished up. And then the layout kept curling with the modelling paste. It was driving me a bit batty, so I do end up sticking that down with double-sided tape to make it stick. And then I'm just taking a little bit off each of my photo mounts, because I did feel as though the mounts were too big for the way the layout and going over the papers. So I've cut a bit more out where I messed about and didn't actually produce anything. And then I've brought in these little chipboard pieces from Studio Calico that I added into my Like Forever kit, and I will end up with 2 of those on this layout. I tried a few of the little hearts, I tried some more of the die cuts that I'd added in, but it just wasn't screaming for a lot of embellishments. I felt as though the layout needed to be simple. And once I realised that, the layout came together really quickly. So the little camera from the sticker sheet was a gorgeous match to the colours that I had. So that will end up going just before the word this. And I'm going to pop that chipboard piece from Studio Calico as the centre of my love. And then I've just popped a little gold heart inside the camera while we've got this heart theme going on. And then the only other embellishment I add is another one of the little chipboard pieces from Studio Calico. I felt as though I needed the pop of that pink down near the sweet and amazing. So there's a little ampersand, and I've just popped that. So we've got love this life, or it could be this sweet, love this sweet life, and then we've also got what could be sweet and amazing. And that is my layout done and complete. A lot simpler than I thought, but I hope this has given you an idea for how to use your cut files. And thank you for watching, and I'll speak to you all again soon.